Hey, welcome. This is Dan and Sara Amos, and many of you all know that we have been talking about doing Adult Day here in Culpeper for the last couple of years. Sara has been on the planning team with me and Hans and Amy Martin and several other community leaders, and she was a pleasant surprise to us when we found her just up in Warrenton. So Sara, just kind of introduce yourself to us. Tell us who you are, what you've done, how you ended up in Warrenton and on this planning team.
Absolutely. So my name is Sara Amos, and I'm a certified therapeutic recreation specialist, which simply put, I always tell people means I get to have fun for a living. So, right. But other than that, I grew up in Fairfax, so I'm pretty much local to this area. Went to Virginia Tech to get my bachelor's degree in human development, and then pursued my master's in recreation therapy after that. While I was at Virginia Tech pursuing my 2 degrees, I worked at the Virginia Tech Adult Day Services, which is a daytime center, obviously for senior adults with Alzheimer's, dementia, other age-related disabilities, just a place that they could come during the day to receive enrichment, build relationships, and their caregivers could also receive respite. So I worked there for 4 years and also helped them develop some other programs. And then now I actually work at Cornerstone Baptist Church in Warrenton. I'm the program director for their caregiver ministry, which we started from scratch, and provides informal support and educational programs for caregivers in our community.
All right, I want to come back to the Cornerstone thing, but first let's talk a little bit more about Virginia Tech.
Yes, absolutely.
So you worked at an intergenerational center at Virginia Tech, which has been the attraction of why we're at this table, because we have a robust child development center, and community leaders came to us and said, we'd love to put an adult day program next to that. So talk about what you experienced at Virginia Tech as a research institution trying to figure things out. This was on the campus of Virginia Tech and owned and operated by Virginia Tech.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very cool model, and it really kind of set the pace for a lot of other intergenerational programs, mostly because it was a part of the university. They were doing a lot of research there on that type of program. So it was co-located with a child development center, and the adult day was just a few doors away. And we did a lot of programming with the children from the adult day side, usually about 3 times a week. And it's just really a great program because it provides so much for both sides of the populations.
Right. All right. While you were at Virginia Tech, you also were an intern at Blacksburg Baptist Church. And we could do multiple segments. My good friend, Tommy McDearris, who's the pastor there, who you got to work with. But just tell us about your work at Blacksburg Baptist Church, one of our great Virginia Baptist churches.
Absolutely. It was such a formative experience. They have a thriving senior adult population, and my role was to be the intern to senior adults. So I learned a lot about that generation of life, and just how to pull out the best of senior adults and really give them a place in the community and just glean from their wisdom.
Right, and not on the same subject, but Blacksburg Baptist Church is a wonderful example of an intergenerational church.
Yes.
They, as you said, they have a number of senior adults, but they have invested so much into the lives of young people who, through their internship program, through their ministry to campus, to students on the campus. And my niece was also an intern at Blacksburg Baptist, so I know it's just made a huge impact. So you finished up at Virginia Tech.
Did.
And you ended up in Warrenton with Cornerstone as a caregiving director. Tell us how all that came to be.
Yeah, definitely the Lord's timing for sure in every way. So I was finishing up my master's. I actually pursued that online, so I got it through Indiana University. And right as I was finishing up, Cornerstone, which my family had been attending, my whole family lives in Warrenton, they approached me and said, hey, we're actually applying for a grant to start this caregiver ministry, and we think that you would be the perfect candidate to run that. So that was about 2 years ago now.
Right. And the thing that brought us together is Hans was in a gathering with senior adult community leaders, and he got out of that Zoom call, and he happened to be at church that day, walked across to my office and said, hey, we got to talk to this person. She is impressive. And so we did shortly thereafter. But the thing that really attracted me to the work you're doing is when we were doing the feasibility study for Adult Day here, I remember the day our consultants, we were doing a Zoom call like we all do, and they said, you need to get out of the mindset that you're doing support for adults during the day, or you're doing support for children. You're supporting the caregiver, the parent, the spouse. And so talk to us a little bit about that attraction to caregiver ministry, and what does that even look like in the work you've done up in Warrenton?
Absolutely. So it's a lot of education. So a lot of people are thrust into the role of caregiver before they know anything about the condition their loved one has. They don't know anything about providing personal care. So we do a lot of educational things for them. We also just provide informal support. And to speak to what you're talking about the need, I was on a webinar today that was, they were saying that caregivers often won't take respite. They don't think that they need it. But if they have a place for their loved one to go, that they know that their loved one's going to get good nutrition, they're going to have a good day, they're going to get to meet other people, caregivers are all in. And then, maybe a few months later, they realize, oh my gosh, I really needed that break.
Yeah, and we know if we can keep the caregiver healthy, that directly impacts the person who needs care.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, that's been an awakening to me, certainly as the pastor of this church, how much support that is needed by caregivers and how little resources have typically been there. And I think we're all waking up to that reality. So when we talk about Adult Day, in our context, we're talking primarily, Adult Day can run the gamut of anybody really over the age of 18 or 19, but we're talking more about senior Adult Day. So tell us what a typical day for an Adult Day program would look like.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people might assume that they just get dropped off and they read some books and, they're safe for 8 hours and they are taken home. But that's not really what Adult Day is about. Adult Day is about creating a space and an environment where senior adults can thrive no matter what they're experiencing, a memory impairment, a physical impairment, a chronic condition. So it involves a lot of different types of activities that are going to increase their well-being and quality of life, including horticulture, music, art. It's endless, all the things you can do.
Yeah, it's going to be just a vibrant expression. And so we wanted to kind of introduce you to the conversation today. We're going to do several of these videos so you can get a little bit more into what does Adult Day and intergenerational care look like. In the next segment, we'll talk a little bit more about the intergenerational care and we're really what we are excited about, the beauty of bringing both our children and senior adults together in a meaningful way. So be sure to watch the next session we do. And if you have questions, hey, call me, email me. Sarah will jump in and we'll answer your questions as well. But thanks for joining us today and talking a little bit with us about Adult Day.